There's something wrong with us. You feel it, I feel it, but no one wants to name it. Because naming it means we'd have to change, and change means silence. And silence means facing the truth. We've built a world that keeps us busy while we forget how to be alive. You don't need chains when your prison is made of choices you think you made yourself. We chase distraction like it owes us peace. We chase pleasure like it owes us joy, but it never pays out. And still we pull the lever. Again and again and again, we scroll for hours. We binge watch strangers, we call it rest. But it doesn't restore us, it numbs us. We say we're tired, but we don't sleep. We say we're connected, but we feel lonelier than ever. We say we're free, but we can't stop reaching. That's not freedom. That's a cage you can't see. Dopamine, that's the name. The molecule that whispers, almost. It doesn't love you, it doesn't know you. But it's running your life, and the worst part, you invited it in. We gave it the throne, crowned it king of our attention, and built temples in its name. Apps, feeds, trends, loops, games. And the deeper we fall, the more we call it normal. That is all. But normal is not the same as okay. And waking up every day to chase a feeling that never stays. That's not living, that's surviving. That's being run by something you never really understood, but now you do. And once you see the bars, you can't unsee them. You've already been caught. The question is, are you willing to escape? Arthur Schopenhauer didn't believe in happy endings. He believed in truth. And the truth he saw wasn't pretty. He said life isn't built on peace. It's built on craving. On a deep, unconscious drive that never stops moving. He called it the will. Not the will to succeed, or to grow, or to love. Just the will to want. A force with no destination, just a hunger that feeds on itself. Every time we get what we want, it disappears into the air, and the wanting returns. Schopenhauer said life swings like a pendulum, not between joy and despair, but between pain and boredom. Pain when we don't have what we want, boredom when we do, and in between, a flicker. A moment of light we mistake for meaning. He said every fulfilled desire lays the seed for a new one. That there is no final satisfaction, just another beginning, just another chase. You think you're building a life, but you're just redrawing the target again and again. And in a world engineered to feed your wanting, you will never be full. You will only get used to being hungry. He wasn't trying to depress you. He was trying to wake you up. Because once you see that the system isn't failing you, you see that it was never designed to let you win. And you weren't meant to feel satisfied. You were meant to keep scrolling, keep consuming, keep running. Schopenhauer wrote, "Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become. The same goes for fame, for novelty, for validations. It's all. Desire doesn't end when it's fulfilled. It expands, like fire when it's fed. We are not chasing joy. We are feeding the will, and the will never thanks you. It only asks for more. And the world you live in, this world of autoplay, endless scrolls, dopamine loops, is the perfect home for the will. It disguises hunger as entertainment. It calls addiction engagement. It wraps suffering in design, but this isn't new. Schopenhauer saw it before the first light bulb ever flickered on. Because this isn't about technology, it's about biology. It's about how we are wired to seek, and how no one ever taught us to stop. There's no finish line at Earth. No one more thing that finally makes you whole, just another craving. Just another promise that this time it'll be different, but it won't. And deep down you already know that. Your brain is not trying to make you happy. It's trying to keep you chasing. We were told dopamine was the pleasure chemical, the spark behind joy, reward, motivation, but that was only part of the story, because dopamine doesn't flood when you get the thing. It spikes when you're about to. It's the anticipation, the maybe, the suspense, the flicker of almost, and that's why we can't stop. We check our phones not because there's something new, but because there might be. Every notification is a lottery ticket, every scroll a spin of the wheel. Sometimes you get nothing, sometimes you hit, and that uncertainty, that's what makes it addicting. Robert Sapolsky said it best: dopamine fires not when the reward comes, but right before. It's not about getting, it's about expecting. And the moment you arrive, it's gone. The buzz fades, the joy slips, and you're back to wanting again. This isn't a malfunction, it's the system working perfectly. The chemical that once helped us hunt and survive has been hijacked, repackaged into apps, feeds, loops, streaks, swipes. You are not being entertained. You're being trained to crave, to reach, to repeat. And the more you obey, the less it gives you in return, because dopamine adapts. Doesn't stay excited, it needs escalation. What thrilled you yesterday bores you today. So we chase more noise, more speed, more chaos. But more doesn't satisfy, it sedates. Dr. Anna Lemke calls this the dopamine deficit state. When we flood the brain with pleasure, the brain pushes back. It tilts the balance toward pain, not as punishment, as correction. What goes up must come down, and when you come down hard enough, you don't stop. You chase again, you scroll again, you binge again, and the loop continues. You escape discomfort by creating more of it. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline and wondering why the room is burning. We mistake stimulation for comfort, but it's not comfort, it's compulsion, and the more we confuse the two, the more we numb everything else. We stop enjoying the quiet, we stop noticing the world. We forget how to be alone without reaching for a screen. You're not broken. Your brain is doing what it was designed to do, in a world that learned how to profit from it. But knowing that is not the same as escaping it, because even now, even here, your mind is wondering what comes next, what scrolls beneath this, what's waiting just outside this moment. That's the addiction, not to the content, but to the chase. And unless you stop long enough to feel the emptiness, you'll keep feeding it. Like a man dying of thirst drinking seawater. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. Chapter 4. The Ones Who Couldn't Let Go. There's a man in a myth, his name is Erysichthon. He cut down a sacred tree to feed his hunger, and for that he was cursed. Not with death, not with pain, but with appetite, an eternal hunger that no meal could satisfy. He ate his wealth, his kingdom, his flesh, until nothing was left, not even the man who started it. And if that sounds like fantasy, look again. He's here, in us. He's in the all-nighters spent chasing dopamine hits. In the person who opens social media to check one thing and wakes up an hour later, hollow and unsatisfied. We're not eating ourselves with teeth. We're doing it with time. We are the hunger. We are the curse. And this isn't mythology anymore. There was a real rat once in a real lab with a real button. Scientists wired its brain so that pressing the button gave it a direct hit of dopamine. And the rat pressed it again and again. Thousands of times an hour. It ignored food, ignored water, ignored sleep. It died with its paw still on the button. That was a study, but it was also a prophecy, because now we press buttons too. They just look like apps. They just sound like notifications. They just feel like routine. And just like that rat, we forget to eat with people, we forget to rest, we forget to live, because the high feels urgent and the hunger feels real. But it isn't, it's just a loop. A man named Vinayak once found treasure in a cursed vault. Every time he entered, he swore it would be the last, but he kept going back. Greed isn't a loud voice, it's a whisper. One more. And in the end, the vault took him. He died rich, but not free. We think these stories are ancient, but they're here, now, everywhere. We return to vaults too, but ours are on screens. Our monsters don't guard gold, they guard our attention, and they never raise their voices. They don't have to, because we come back willingly. We call it just one more scroll, just one more episode, just 5 more minutes, and we laugh about it, we joke, we shrug, but we're not joking. We're bargaining, we're losing. And every time we say, I'll stop after this one, we forget we said that yesterday, and the day before, and the one before that. We don't lack discipline, we lack silence. And until we relearn how to sit in it, we'll keep returning to the very thing that's draining us. Chapter 5. The mirror we refuse to see. We think we're in control, we say it without thinking, that we choose how we spend our time, that we decide what we give our attention to. But control is the most comfortable illusion in the world, because every sound your phone makes, every notification badge, every little you might also like, that's not you choosing. That's you reacting. It's design. It's neuroscience turned into profit. We are not just users anymore. We're subjects in an invisible experiment that never ends, and the results are in. They've studied your impulses. They know when you're most vulnerable. They know the color red grabs your eye faster. They know your craving for social validation can override your logic in under 2 seconds. They've weaponized the concept of maybe, because maybe is the magic word. Maybe there's a message. Maybe someone liked your post. Maybe the next video will be the one that finally fills you. But maybe never ends, and so you don't either. This isn't entertainment, it's extraction. You think you're scrolling past time? But what if I told you, by the time you're 80, you'll have spent over 13 years looking at a screen? That's not a life lived, that's a life watched. They don't need to lock you in a room, they just need you to keep watching, keep clicking, keep reaching. They built an empire on your inability to sit still, and you pay for it with hours, with peace, with parts of yourself you didn't notice were disappearing. They designed it so you'd never stop to ask, why am I doing this? Because if you did, you'd see it for what it is, a loop, a cage made of dopamine and dust. And even now you feel it, don't you? That itch, that tug to check, to move, to scroll. Not because something's waiting, but because you've been taught to fear what isn't. But the truth is, most of what you consume doesn't feed you. It fills the space between who you are and who you're too distracted to become. You don't need more noise. You need an interruption, a pattern break, a crack in the loop, something that snaps you out of the trance long enough to remember this wasn't how it was supposed to be. And maybe that's this moment, right here, right now, because you can't escape a prison if you don't see the walls. But once you do, the door's been open the whole time. Chapter 6, The Quiet That Sets You Free. There's a story that begins under a tree. A man sits down, cross-legged, unbothered. Demons arrive, not with horns or flames, but with everything he's ever wanted. They offer him power, they offer him comfort, they offer him escape. He watches them, he listens, but he doesn't move, because he understands. Wanting is the real demon, and craving is the true chain. That man became the Buddha, not because he fought desire, but because he stopped answering it. In Buddhist lore, there are beings called hungry ghosts, spirits with mouths too small and stomachs too big. They eat endlessly, but they never feel full. They are condemned not by punishment, but by hunger. And if that sounds like fiction, go stand in a checkout line. Watch the faces lit by screens, the thumb flicks, the glazed eyes, the endless scroll. This isn't supernatural, it's systematized, a world built to keep you wanting. But not everyone agreed to play. The Stoics knew this long before algorithms. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." And Schopenhauer, in all his darkness, offered a kind of light. He said we could escape the will, not by feeding it, but by turning away, through art, through beauty, through stillness. He believed the will goes silent when you stop chasing and start observing, and maybe he was right, because the more you reach, the more you forget what it's like to just be. To walk without purpose, to sit without a plan, to listen without responding, to be alive without performing. Stillness isn't weakness, it's rebellion, it's resistance in a world that wants you overstimulated, overworked, and overwhelmed. So take it back. Not by deleting everything, but by stepping away on purpose. Let yourself be bored. Let yourself feel the itch and not scratch it, because boredom isn't the enemy, it's the threshold. And silence isn't empty. It's full of everything you've been too distracted to hear. The world will keep spinning, the machine will keep calling, but you don't have to answer. Not today, not this time. And if you made it this far, maybe that means something. Maybe something in you is waking up. If it is, share this. Someone else might need it. And if you're ready, leave a comment. Not for me, for you. So you remember this moment. The one where you chose not to be a slave. The one where you paused and heard something deeper than dopamine. The sound of your own mind coming back online.